Yep. So I discovered personal development slash self improvement way back in 2010. And I had just left a gym of mine that I was a part of for a while. And I was in a rut. And I thought, how do I get out of this rut? And I remember knowing of Tony Robbins. So I looked up his stuff. And I thought back then it was just all about making yourself feel better in the moment. And, you know, no shade on Tony Robbins, but he does a lot of like, oh, get yourself in this excited state. So I remember listening to his audiobook, reading his book. I got into all the OGs like Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, all those guys, right? And I was like, cool. What do I do with this stuff? And so I thought, oh, well, then this just means I can, if I set a goal, I can achieve it. So I can write down anything and I get what I want. So I, of course, in true human fashion, I wrote down way too many and I was spread too thin. I was also very distracted by video games. I should say video game, but I'll talk about that later. Um, and it also made me think like, oh, I guess to be some sort of success, I had to be a motivational speaker or an author, even though they all had some industry they were in before they were doing that thing. I was like, oh, I guess that's what I had to do, right? No. And so the problem with what I was doing, and I think a lot of people do, is that you may start with a goal that's more like a Christmas list. You start with this positive, I want a new car, right? Or a new house, or I want this 7-figure job, and you write it down and you put it on a vision board. And who knows how long it's going to take you to get there, right? I don't really know. I also read Tim Ferriss's The 4 Hour Work Week. And without going too far into the actual work part, he actually starts with, he calls it dream setting. Okay. And along those lines, he said, adults have a problem. He calls it ADD, Adventure Deficit Disorder, which means because of life, right? Daily life, or since it's just been so long, you forget how to dream up things for yourself, right? He even says, like, kids will say, I want to be an astronaut. And yeah, we encourage them. And then adults say, I want to, I don't know, some kind of reasonable, far-fetched goal. And then all the other adults downplay it and tell them to go away. Tell them to be reasonable, get a real job. Now he says, go for these goals in different categories of your life. But he says, if you are stuck, which people will be because they're just like, well, I don't know what to do. He has you start with fear setting. Okay. So in those categories, I don't know, having, being, and doing. What do you want to have? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? He says, if you're really stuck, you write down what you fear or hate in each category and then write down the opposite, which is very powerful. Dan Coe calls this the anti-vision, right? Because the reason why this is so beneficial is because instead of thinking of some far off goal, you don't really know how to get there, or maybe way too far fetched, you start with where you are right now. Because where you are right now is concrete. I can set a goal of like, I don't know, I want to squat 600 pounds, but you're not really there yet. Or you say, I don't like how weak in general I am. From there, you set a shorter term goal, right? I don't like these like 5-year things because you don't know what you're going to be doing in 3 weeks, but anywhere 3 to 6 weeks, okay? Shorter term goal, because having the what you don't like right now brings you in the here and now so that your goal doesn't have to be too far up. Now, you don't have to stay in this negative mindset for too long. Eventually, you use the light side energy, right? Once you achieve this goal or do more, you turn around and help other people. So then your goal becomes more than just, I'm doing this for myself. But you start with the dark side, okay? You start with, where can I get to from where I am that's kind of close right now, and then build from there. So if you can't tell, I like Star Wars, and we're going to bring the dark side and the light side together. For as Yoda said, name must your fear be, before banish it you can. I like that quote. And Tim Ferriss used that too. But anyways, this is all to say, what do? You need to do exactly what Tim Ferriss asked. Look at the categories in your life, right? Let's say health. That's what we're here for. What do you fear or hate in each category? I hate to say it, but like, look at what the worst, you're either living a worst case scenario, or it's a scenario you're not happy with, or look in the future. If I keep doing my habits now, what will this get me? Do I like that picture? If not, you need to do something about it. And like I said, from there, set this goal that you can start doing, striving for 3 to 6 months from now. All right, that's plenty of time to make a decent amount of change. If you don't think so, honestly, like if you did a linear progression for 3 or 6 months, that gets heavy pretty quick. Or if you start being consistent for 3 to 4 days for 3 to 6 months, that's a lot. That you're talking about to the end of the year right now. You can make a lot of change from there. And now, write it down, right? Write down when you fear or hate in health, let's say. And now, before you open a book, before you watch a video, I want you to make a plan right now, okay? Why? Because if you're watching this video, I'm on YouTube right now, right? I also have a newsletter. I said if you can read my newsletter or if you're watching YouTube, there is plenty of content out there, and you've probably consumed enough to have a vague idea as to what to do, or you know something that you should be doing and you're just not. Use what's in your head. Honestly, go out to the gym, go to a gym, go to a little courage corner, as they call it in the kettlebell world, but someplace in your house, and start right now, okay? Put your workout clothes on and do something. At least write the plan down to where you know what you're going to do the next time. Because I guarantee you have something in your head that you know you should be doing. And everybody, there's no controversy here, even though there is. People say, you don't need more education, you need more action. You need both, okay? If you just acted, that's like if you sprinted full speed and you're running in the wrong direction, you're going to run into a wall, right? It's not about the action. You're just doing the wrong direction. But if you know the direction and you're just sitting down, nothing's going to happen, okay? I think a better balance is to, as early as you can, act. That doesn't, we're talking about working out, but this can be any goal. Act on a goal as early in the day as possible so you don't talk yourself out of it. Do that for 10 to 30 minutes, seriously. After that, then you can self-educate, because you don't know what education to get until you start with what you kind of think is the right idea. Start, screw up, and then self-educate based on the gaps in your knowledge. Now, this is, you don't have to obsessively research if things are going well, right? Like if you're following a program, things are going well. Yes, you can read motivational stuff just as a general, keep going, make you feel good. Honestly, I think you should be reading a lot all the time, and watching educational YouTube videos helps. But don't keep getting in this like, oh, somebody said something different, I'm going to change something. Somebody said something different, I'm going to change something. So have like general education happening. But then when you hit a snag, not if, when you hit a snag, educate based on that. Books, long videos, newsletters, podcasts. The longer the better, right? Don't do quick Google searches, because you won't really change your mind with quick information. But, so act first, 10 to 30 minutes, adjust and educate from there. So that's really it. That is how the real way to set a goal, okay? I know that like, oh, I'm going to set this far-fetched fantasy goal. It sounds nice, but it's not as, like this gut reaction as something that you're dealing with right now. The last point I want to make is that everybody's going somewhere, okay? It's kind of, what are you talking about? You have habits right now, all right? We just talked about the anti-vision or fear set, what you fear. You may have something you're experiencing now, but there may be a future that your habits are bringing you towards. And I don't think enough people are thinking about that. Look at the habits you have right now. Are they giving you the results now that you like? Because if you don't like what you want, what you have now, you probably have bad habits. Okay. Are they giving you the habits right now that you don't like? Or down the road, can they give you bad results? And I hate to be a little bit, I don't know, harsh here, but look at friends or family or coworkers or people in your neighborhood that have some bad habits that may be a part of what you do, and are they living out the end stages of those habits, right? Like parents, grandparents, older people. Do you want to be there, right? If they have those habits and they are somewhere that you don't want to be, do not do those habits. All right, I think that's pretty self-evident, but I don't think a lot of people sit around and think about that, right? You just kind of go on autopilot without analyzing what you're doing. So that's a nice little wrap up review. Act early or in the morning. Research when you get stuck, and then review, am I doing the right things? If you're doing the right things, it's going to take a while, but sit and reflect. All right, at least once a week or at the end of your workouts, honestly. That's it, y'all. That's a real way to set a goal. Do that process, and it's early in the morning. Go work out. That's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, newsletter in the comments or the description with this same exact article. I'll see you in the next one.